Hello and welcome back for another clarinet tutorial from Nottingham Music Excellence. So in this video I'm going to play Lydia in the Grade 3 clarinet book for ABRSM, and it's taken from the Opus 4 number 2, a lovely song composed in 1870. And as usual, I think with Fauré you're going to hear some interesting harmonic detail, and Fauré is kind of known for linking the end of Romanticism into the modernism of the 20th century. So hope you enjoy the tutorial. Here we go. Okay, so you've heard the music. Let's now say a few words about the detail and what you need to put in there to make this sound really awesome. So I think first of all, just be careful with the piano opening here. I mean, I guess if you're presenting this for examination, you will have played it a few times with the piano. Just that initial bar is just slightly off-putting when you first hear it, in that you've got a crotchet minim, crotchet, 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 and it just slightly sort of, I don't know, it kind of just slightly knocks you off your rails a little bit. You're thinking, what time signature is this in? You know, what rhythm has the piano just played here? So just watch out that minim doesn't sort of throw you off your counting. And let's have a look at some of these notes then. So we're kind of playing D major fingering here, aren't we? But in a G major key signature. So already I think we can demonstrate a good kind of flow of the notes here. Make sure we've got a nice legato, constant sound. Ideally, I think if you can get that first 4 bars in one breath, and just use the slight ups and downs in those crescendos and diminuendos. And another good practice, as I've mentioned before on some of these pieces, for grade 3, it's that first grade where all the pieces are going to use notes in the upper register. It's not grade 2 anymore, where you still get a selection of pieces that only use the lower register notes. So we need to get a bit more comfortable on, kind of crossing the break here and which keys we're going to use. And actually, with reference to this passage, you can kind of go right to left on the C sharp or left to right. It doesn't really make a huge difference because we're not in a more complicated key. So A, B, C sharp. So I think, as usual, again, as I've mentioned in some of my videos for grade 3, just try and sort of keep those fingers nice and close to the instrument. Keep the airflow just really steady through, so that as you change the fingers, and there is going to be enough air, support system to make to make that transition over the break. Again, just going back to that first 4 bars, I think, keep a really smooth melodic line, and just make the sound really constant. So try not to sort of break it all up into bits. So as you go up to that C sharp there, just use that crescendo to help you out a little bit, get over the break. And then there's a rest. And notice as I finish my phrase there, going from a B to an A, because the music is generally so quiet in this piece, I'm sort of just dulling down that A a little bit. I'm just sort of slightly flattening it with some extra fingers. So just be mindful of the tuning on this one, on those throat notes. And just a little word on the dynamics. You'll notice that most of the dynamics in this piece are fairly similar. There's no big moments in the piece. I think that's actually a bit of a negative in some ways. You don't get a chance to sort of really play out and use the sound of the instrument on this one. It's all quite melancholy and, you know, perhaps a little bit reflective and sad, you could say. And so you've got to play this with a really nice sound and just use those little gentle ups and downs in the dynamic just to make the music work. But I think we're coming up to a nice bit here. So bar 15, I think this is where the real beauty is of the piece, isn't it? So it's marked dolce on those triplets. On that triplet there, just to practice that rhythm, to get that really accurate, you could take out the tie, couldn't you, and just play that rhythm without the tie and go. Or you could even tongue it all. And then I'll put the tie back in and put the legato back in. So a lovely line to play that, very nice. So make sure that sounds really, well, dolce, I guess. And going on to the last line, quite tricky this, I think. It's got to be very delicately played, beautiful ending. So I'd be thinking about that open G there. Do I need to flatten it a little bit? You know, what is the tuning like compared to me and the piano as I play that passage? So if you do need to dull down that open G a bit, you could just add all those fingers on the right hand. And then the last one, I don't think you'll need to change the tuning here. So not terribly high up there, but I think if you're grade 3 and you've got to play that quiet and delicately, that is going to feel like quite a high point in the piece. You know, it's going to be quite hard to play quiet and delicately. So quite challenging, I think. So all in all, I think just to summarise, a lovely piece to play, some lovely harmony in there, and very melancholy. You know, you can play this if if sound is one of the better qualities of your playing, rather than the quick sort of flashy playing. This might be a good piece, and it might be a good piece even though it's kind of not something you can do a lot with. I think this piece, it's one of those pieces that could be a good contrasting piece to the other, perhaps more flashy pieces that you play for list A and C. So a lovely piece, and just make sure that you don't play it all exactly on the same dynamic level. Make sure you do just vary the quality of the sound a little bit, do those little ups and downs in the crescendo, and just make sure you've got a nice read on for this one, and really sort of carry it off with a nice sound. So I think that's all I need to say on this one. And of course, if you have enjoyed the tutorial and used it, then don't forget to support the channel by clicking that like button, and perhaps just leave me a comment in that section below and let me know how you're getting on with grade 3. I'd love to hear from you. But that's it for this one. Have a go with the accompaniment now, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.